Crimson Desert has done a very good job of showing us what boss battles will look like in the game. From fighting knights, dragons, witches, and mystical creatures, there certainly are a lot of different enemy types in Crimson Desert, so in this video we're going to take a look at 12 different bosses and boss battles. The first boss battle we're going to be looking at is against Splithorn. Now this appears to be a king who has a lot of magic abilities as we're dodging a lot of his magic powers, and also he likes to get up close and personal with sword fighting, so in this boss battle there's a lot of variety between dodging magic attacks and then getting up close with your sword. The next boss battle is against Staglord, who appears to use a lot more brute force in comparison to Splithorn. Definitely a lot less on the magic side, and this boss battle definitely wants you to be attacking the character with your melee weapons. Muskan also looks to be similar to Staglord, where he's using a lot of brute force to take you down. It does look like he has a little bit of fire damage built into him, so definitely look out for that, but nonetheless another boss battle to look at. Walter Lanford appears to be normal, but I would say the most interesting thing about this boss battle is that the enemy is using a firearm against you, so this makes me think if the enemies can use firearms, why shouldn't we? Definitely a cool boss battle and a lot to look forward to. You're bringing a sword to a gunfight and you're using your shield to block the bullets that he's shooting, so there's a lot of different things happening in this boss battle, especially with magic abilities. And the exact opposite of Walter Lanford, I guess, would be the Queen Stone Crab, who is basically a giant beast, and we're looking to attack their weak points and evade their slow, large attacks. We also get to see the Reed Devil boss battle, which has a lot more sword combat associated with it, but also you're dodging a lot of magic abilities. The character is appearing in and out, teleporting, moving around, so you're looking out for not only his sword attacks, but his magic abilities. And then we've all seen Fortain the Fallen Knight, who has an ancient artifact associated with him, so not only is he using his brute force to attack you, but he also has some sort of shadowy figure that follows after certain combos or moves. And then definitely one of the coolest creatures we've seen in Crimson Desert so far is the White Horn. This giant Yeti-like creature with antlers is definitely something out of Mystics and Legends, but nonetheless a certainly cool creature that we'll be fighting, but not as cool as the Golden Star, which is a golden mechanical dragon that we'll be fighting. So again, lots of variety in the combat styles, the bosses that we're going to be versing, different creatures, different knights. There certainly is, like I said, a lot of variety to look forward to in Crimson Desert, and I definitely think Golden Star, this is definitely a bigger boss battle that we'll be fighting. Certainly a lot more to look at than characters like Splithorn, Staglord, and Fortain the Fallen Knight. So the Golden Star is definitely one of the boss battles that we're all looking forward to. And then my personal favorite of the bunch so far is Kirush the Slayer, who basically looks like a giant troll, and we're fighting him in what appears to be a castle. So again, this character is going to be using a lot more brute force, kind of has ape-like attacks where he's using his forearms, you can hop on his back and get some damage in. So again, lots of variety in the characters that we're going to be versing, and Kirush the Slayer is certainly one of the cooler ones. And then a character like Hexe Marie is going to be a lot more magic. This is going to be a battle that we're fighting against magic, more or less. You know, there are crows attacking you, inanimate objects that are coming to life that are attacking you, and they're all being controlled by Hexe Marie. So again, lots of variety in the characters, from giant beasts to knights to witches. And then the last boss battle that we're going to be looking at is Cassius Morton, who is similar to Fortane, the Cursed Knight. Basically, he's a giant knight and a pretty simple boss battle, again forcing you to engage a lot more in hand-to-hand combat or with your melee weapons than your ranged weapons. So those are 12 different boss battles that have been shown so far, and I'm going to be breaking them down even further. Out of the 12 boss battles that we've seen, I'm going to be breaking them up into 3 different categories. Basically normal medieval characters that we've seen across different video games, movies, TV shows, different creatures, and then the magic bosses that we have. So there are 6 normal medieval bosses so far: Splithorn, Staglord, Muscan, Walter Lanford, Fortane the Cursed Knight, and Cassius Morton. These are all characters that don't seem too out of ordinary from a medieval setting, whether they're kings, knights, common folk, you name it, Crimson Desert has it. And we've seen 4 different mystical creatures, from Whitehorn, the Golden Star, the Queen Stone Crab, and Kirush the Slayer. These are different mystical beasts that that are in the Crimson Desert world, the continent of Pywel. So again, these 4 bosses just show us the variety of the creatures that we'll be fighting. And then the 2 primary magic bosses that we've seen is Hexe Marie and the Reed Devil. Definitely a lot more magic abilities that we're versing against these 2 bosses as compared to the rest. It definitely seems like there's going to be a lot of teleportation with these characters, appearing, disappearing, reappearing, and again, lots of magic abilities that we're going to have to defending against, and most likely using our magic abilities to attack them. So a lot less hand-to-hand combat in this one, but again, showing us the variety of enemies that we'll be versing. And we even know the locations of each of these boss battles. In the UI, you can actually see the location of where you are fighting. So for a character like Splithorn, we are fighting in the Unicorn Cliffs. Staglord takes place in the Savage Peaks. Muscan takes place in the Bone Pit, and so far the only boss we've seen kind of in the Red Rocks Desert region. Walter Lanford, his boss battle takes place at Fort Warspike. Fortane the Cursed Knight takes place at Thornbriar Fortress. Cassius Morton, his battle takes place in the Caliphate Castle, and then the mystical creatures of Whitehorn takes place in the White Mountains. The Golden Star Dragon is from Marine's Magisterium, and the Queen Stone Crab lies in the Red Fox Forest, and Kirush the Slayer in the Heron Castle. And then the 2 magic bosses, Hexe Marie is in the Smoking Lands, and the Reed Devil is in the Frozen Soul Mountain. So again, we have 12 different bosses, 12 different locations, no repeats from any of them. Again, breaking them down into the 3 different categories of basic medieval characters, fantasy creatures, and then kind of magic bosses that we're going to be fighting. There certainly is a lot to look forward to in Crimson Desert, and I would definitely subscribe to Pywel Institute if you're looking to know more about the world, location, and just the overall game of Crimson Desert. So with that, comment down below, subscribe if you'd like, and until next video, goodbye.